The philosophy of the Hawks is effectively just what we try and do is we encourage people from all types of backgrounds, whether they be rich, poor, whether they be local, far away, whether they be league cricketers, if it's league cricket standard or higher or even lower than that, and just friendly cricketers. Everybody gets together and everybody's the same when we turn up.
Male or female?
Yeah.
You know, my life has been transformed really by the Hawks, by meeting so many great people and having lots of fun. And I wasn't really what would say is a natural cricketer, and the cricket as well has been great. You know, enjoyment, just sort of learning and playing the game.
The club's based around the friendship of the players who turn up on the day, and indeed those who turn up not just to play but also to watch the game, maybe umpire and score. So it's a case of getting people together of all walks of life and different ages as well.
For me, certainly my father's side of the family are originally from Yorkshire, but I grew up away from the county until I met my wife. So then it provided an opportunity to meet a number of people who've become good friends and play cricket more flexibly around family and friends and other commitments, but to a decent standard, and to play in some pretty lovely places around the county.
No, it's a lot of people like my age. Personally, I'm 23. A lot of people don't spend that much time with the parents, whereas when you play sport together, it's a couple of hours. But it's a full day for the Hawks, because you go to the pub beforehand, then you play the cricket, then you go to the pub after. So it's a full day getting time to spend with your dad.
It's a way of meeting people, of sharing experiences, those memories of a fantastic innings, a fantastic catch, someone bowling a fantastic spell, or just one of those games that ebbs and flows and goes down to the last over. Sharing those and making memories together as a family is something that should be treasured, and it's a way of individuals of a similar age coming together and meeting people who may well become lifelong friends for many years.
The Hawks is very much like a big family, because it's friendship, fun, meeting people, getting about, seeing different places. You get to go to some really nice little villages, some great little pubs before and after the game, and just it's always a fun day out.
Well, we've been playing the Harrow Wanderers for as long as I can remember. We've got a very fond friendship with the Harrow boys. They change from year to year, because obviously some guys move on and don't want to tour, and other guys come on board. So although the faces sort of change over a period of years, you get to know them all, and you see them for many years before they decide that they don't want to come anymore.
We try to put a decent side out as well, don't we?
We do. It's one time when we.
Going back to earlier when it said any ages, any abilities, but for that game we probably try and put a bit of a stronger side out.
Yeah, we do, and it just adds to it the fact that we stay overnight and make a bit of a weekend of it, if you will, and rather than just driving up there and driving back again, it's made for an interesting night once or twice. It has to be said.
Harrow, a very strong side. They all obviously come from a very good cricketing background. They get well coached at school, they play to a high standard at school, and they tend to be quite young, good cricketers. Various teams have included quite a few guys who've played England schoolboy cricket and things, and some have played slightly higher.
I have to say, recently it's taken on a little bit more of not a serious, but a more poignant aspect, insofar as one of our great friends and one of the players who played in the game for many years, Howard Reeve, sadly passed away the day after the match, having played the day before.
I'd actually shared a hotel room with him that evening, and I was scoring for the Hawks that afternoon. And actually at the time you don't realise sometimes how important it is, the accuracy of making sure you get the scorebook right, because that afternoon Howard scored precisely 50 before losing his wicket, and I'd like to think that I'm pretty diligent with my scoring, and it was hopefully somewhat fitting that the last action that Howard saw on a cricket field saw him score that half century before the untimely events of the following morning.
We now play the game in Howard's memory, which I think is quite a sweet thing to do, and we'll continue to do that for many years yet.
The birth of the Robin Hanson comes from a gentleman of the same name, not too surprisingly, who, as I understand it, and I can't comment having never seen any of these supposedly poor pieces of fielding, may well have been the worst fielder the Hawks ever seen.
Usually if you've dropped a catch, unless anyone does anything worse and drops 2 catches, you get in the Robin Hanson.
However, the rules have slightly changed now. It is given to somebody who's got the worst attitude. So it could be somebody who's done something wrong, but he gets away with it because his attitude throughout the game has been pretty good. But somebody who's been downright lazy, careless, not bothered about turning up on time, or doing his job as umpiring, or doing a bit of scoring or whatever, then they can be awarded the Hanson for that as well. I've had it myself several times, usually for leaving the field for a quiet bay during our fielding, but once or twice for dropping catches here and there.
And this is the box I made, which is for storing it back in 1995 I think I made this box. So what happens is every season the person who gets it the most and does the fastest time, we'd put their name, engrave it onto a plaque and put their name on there.
I think I've just about broken half a minute. Getting anywhere close to getting into single figures in the number of seconds is beyond my capabilities.
And what's the fastest time? Is it 7 seconds?
7-ish, 7.2
seconds. Is that Joe? Is that Gaffer? Is that Joe?
Yeah,
Joe Gaffer. 7 seconds for 2 pints.
Yeah, quite phenomenal. The Clayton Claw, however, was introduced after the sad passing away of Charlie Clayton, and we decided that we would introduce something to remember Charlie by.
We've got a left hand and a right hand. Some people prefer one side or the other. And this is what you've got to wear. And every time you fumble the ball, whoever fumbles it has to wear this, so this gets passed around from player to player throughout the game until if you're wearing it at the end of the game, and then you've got to buy a pint for Charlie Clayton and down it in his memory.
Put salt in the wound. You've got to buy your own pint and then drink it.
Yeah.
For the Hanson, it gets bought for you usually.
2 free pints.
Yeah.
I've been aware of comments that have been made while England are on tour in South Africa that the celebrations of certain members of the South African side, and indeed some of the behaviour of the England side, is not something you would want to necessarily see on a field, and that is, some people feel, being brought into the game by a younger generation when they're playing league cricket.
It's a very competitive world, and they may think it's all about winning, but the Hawks we play to win, but we play to have fun more and enjoy the company of everyone else, the opposition and ourselves.
One would hope that the Hawks will go from strength to strength.
The biggest challenge for the Hawks, sometimes as numbers ebb and flow and people's lives change, is simply keeping the club going, keep putting 11 people out onto a field on a weekly basis during the summer.
It's mainly about the personnel within the club and making sure that we keep people in the right positions and keeping people interested in joining and keeping the spirit of the club going. And long may that continue.